What is fat? What is its role in our body? Is there good cholesterol? Stay tuned and we will talk about that in our episode today in Small Food Bites in Food Science and Us. Let's get started. Edible fats and oils comprise one of the three major classes of foods, the others being carbohydrates and proteins. In nutrition, biology, and chemistry, fat usually means any ester of fatty acids or a mixture of such compounds, most commonly those that occur in living beings or in food. Edible fats and oils can be obtained from terrestrial or aquatic animals, from the seeds or leaves of many plants, from the pulp, or from the nut and stone of many foods. Edible fats and oils are used in many products not only to make food palatable but also to make them functional. The terms fat and oil are used according to the physical state of the material at room temperature. Fats are in a semi-solid state, but the appearance is of a solid, while oils are in a liquid state. Where could we find these healthy oils? What are the importance of fat in our body, and why do we need them? A small amount of fat is an essential part of a healthy, balanced diet. Fat is a source of essential fatty acids, which the body cannot make itself. Fat helps the body absorb vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin E. These vitamins are fat-soluble, which means they can only be absorbed with the help of fats. What is essential fatty acids? It is the linoleic and linolenic acids. It is considered essential fatty acids because your body cannot make them. Indeed, they support the function of the brain, the heart, and the nervous system. On the other hand, there are also bad oils or unhealthy oils. They're called the trans fat. Trans fat are unhealthy fats that form when vegetable oil goes through a process called hydrogenation. This leads to the fat to harden and become solid at room temperature. Hydrogenated fats or trans fats are often used to keep some foods fresh for a long time. In the process of hydrogenation, food manufacturers chemically alter the structure of vegetable oil. Partial hydrogenation results in trans fats. This inflammatory ingredient raises your bad cholesterol or LDL while lowering your good cholesterol HDL. What is hydrolytic rancidity? According to Mark Gibson, Pat Newsham, in Food Science and the Culinary Arts in 2018, hydrolytic rancidity is a term that describes flavors and aromas caused by release of short-chain fatty acids from acylglycerols. Hydrolytic rancidity is commonly caused by lipase enzymes of bacterial origin. Short-chain fatty acids, such as butyric, are responsible for sharp, unpleasant flavors of sour milk. Hydrolytic rancidity can also result from a chemical mechanism that occurs when foods are cooked at high temperature or the so-called frying. Temperature and time. The presence of light also demonstrates a large impact towards obtaining and speeding up the process of rancidity. It is well known that fatty meat or fat stored in darkness at freezing temperatures develops rancidity at a much slower rate than the same materials would when stored at the same temperatures under the impact of light. Fatty pork meat or pork fat should not be stored longer than 3 to 4 months at negative 18 degrees Celsius, while 6 months are the maximum for fatty beef or fatty lamb meat stored at negative 18 degrees Celsius. Lean meat, because of the low content in fat, can be stored for up to 1 year at negative 18 degrees Celsius. Reduced water content, because water acts as a barrier against the reaction of fatty acids with oxygen. The smaller the quantity of water within food, the more effective the oxygen is towards oxidation. Prevention. Mayonnaise. Temperature at which salad dressing and mayonnaise are kept may be as high as 38 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or higher in midsummer. And it may take 3 to 6 months before these products are consumed. High temperature and humidity, as well as sunlight, favor the development of rancidity in kernels, and the best storage conditions are therefore low temperature, low humidity, and little or no light. What is protein? Protein is an important nutrient for your health. It helps build and repair body tissues like carbohydrates and fat. Protein is a source of energy, also called calories. Protein is an essential macronutrient, but not all food sources of protein are created equal. And you may not need as much as you think. Learn the basics about protein and shaping your diet with healthy protein foods. To our YouTube channel. With science-based explanations from the experts, we will debunk myths about food so you will have an informed decision in making healthy food choices that is free from guilt and fear. So, let's talk about science behind our food. Let's get started. How much protein do I need? According to the National Academy of Medicine, they recommend that adults get a minimum of 0.8 grams of protein for every kilogram of body weight per day, or just over 7 grams for every 20 pounds of body weight. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein, namely isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, and valine. Where can you find protein? Protein is mostly found in dairy products such as cheese, milk and yogurt, eggs, fish and seafood, legumes such as beans, dried peas, lentils, soybeans, and meats such as beef, lamb, pork, and veal, nuts and seeds, poultry like chicken and turkey. How can you make a healthier choice? There is no % daily value for protein in the nutrition facts table. This is because most people get enough protein, so it is not a health concern for Canadians who eat a mixed diet. Helpful hints at the grocery store. Use the nutrition facts table to choose and compare foods. Select lean cuts of meat most often. Choose skinless poultry or remove the skin before cooking. Enjoy beans and lentils more often. Choose fish such as salmon, sardines, and trout, and select lower fat milk products. What are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are an important macronutrient that we need to provide energy and nutrients to the body. There are 3 main types of carbohydrates: starch, fiber, and sugars. Carbohydrates are typically broken down into simpler sugars, for example, glucose, before being utilized for energy or are stored in the body predominantly as glycogen in the liver and muscle. As one of the 4 main food groups, they provide our bodies with energy, calories, to function. They should make up simply over a third of your diet. As I have said earlier, There are three main types of carbohydrates: starch, fiber, and sugars. Now, we will talk about sugars, the difference between natural and added sugars, the differences between simple and complex sugar, so we can make an informed decision by reading food labels and choosing foods. Later on, we'll also talk about fibers, its source, and a glimpse on how to calculate the percent dietary fiber in the food labels. Stay tuned and be right back after this introduction. Naturally occurring sugars and added sugars. There are two types of sugars in foods. Oats. How can you make a healthy? carbonylation. The reactive carbonyl group of the sugar reacts with the nucleophilic amino The structurally related compound 2-acetyl-1-pyrroline has a similar smell and also occurs naturally without heating. The compound gives varieties of cooked rice and the herb pandan or Pandanus amarylifolius their typical smells. Both compounds have odor thresholds below 0.06 nanograms per liter. Roast pork, browned using the Maillard reaction. The browning reactions that occur when meat is roasted or seared are complex and occur mostly by Maillard browning, with contributions from other chemical reactions, including the breakdown of the tetrapyrrole rings of the muscle protein myoglobin. Maillard reactions also occur in dried fruit. Caramelization is an entirely different process from Maillard browning, though the results of the two processes are sometimes similar to the naked eye and taste buds. Caramelization may sometimes cause browning in the same foods in which the Maillard reaction occurs, but the two processes are distinct. They are both promoted by heating, but the Maillard reaction involves amino acids, whereas caramelization is the pyrolysis of certain sugars. So now, what is the difference of Maillard reaction and enzymatic browning? Enzymatic browning is an oxidation reaction that takes place in some foods, mostly fruit and vegetables, causing the food to turn brown. Enzymatic browning is a reaction which requires the action of enzymes and oxidation in order to occur. Thank you for your reaction. Comment down below. Nakakamiss naman magloming Batangas. Ang malapot na sabaw at meaty lomin ng Chowking. Naku, favorite ko yan at masarap kasabay niyan ang siopaw asado. Pero, bakit nga ba lumalabnaw ang sabaw ng lomi kapag lumalamig? Pag-uusapan natin ngayon yan sa episode natin sa Small Chunks in Food, Science and Us. Welcome sa ating YouTube channel. Nag-feature ako ng trivia at explanation based on science behind our food. Kung bago ka pa lang sa ating channel, please do hit like and subscribe para ma-notify ka sa mga bagong uploads natin. We will debunk myths about food so you will have an informed decision in making food choices that are free from guilt and fear. So, let's talk about science behind our food. Let's talk. Let's start. It is usually made with thick egg noodles, cabbage, carrots, chopped pork, and pork liver, all in a thick savory broth. On its own, this Chinese Filipino noodle soup is a simple but filling dish. However, this Batangas Lomi recipe kicks it up a notch. May isi-share akong secret na ginagamit ng mga giant company na nagpo-produce ng masarap na lomi. Ito ang secret sauce ng lomi. Ano nga ba ang sikreto ng secret sauce na yan? The consistency of a lomi sauce is determined by the thickening agent. Traditional lomi uses cornstarch, which thickens the sauce. So, what is starch? Starch is a carbohydrate commonly found in nature and one of the primary sources of food energy for human beings. It is regularly eaten in the form of wheat, rice, potatoes, corn, and other staple foods cultivated throughout the world. Alongside fiber and sugar, starch is one of the three main categories of carbohydrates. Starch is composed of two types of polysaccharide molecules, amylose and amylopectin. These two components of starch serve as thickening agent, water binder agent, and gelling agent. They are very useful in our everyday life nowadays. As a thickener and stabilizer for pasta, noodles, puddings, custards, soups, sauces, gravies, pie fillings, and salad dressings, as water binder agent in pudding, salads, and in our lomi. Why is it called starch? Well, the word starch is from Germanic root with the meaning strong, stiffen, and strengthen. So, as I have said earlier, they are found in root crops like potato, cassava, or tapioca, grains like rice, wheat, and corn. Let's explain now how gelatinization occurs in cornstarch. Cornstarch needs heat in the ballpark of 203 Fahrenheit in order for starch gelatinization, the scientific process in which starch granules swell and absorb water, to occur. In other words, if you don't heat your cornstarch to a high enough temperature, your mixture will never thicken. But why do they choose cornstarch instead of other thickening agents? Here are the properties of cornstarch. Gelatinization temperature, 62 to 72 degrees Celsius, so it's actually in a warm state, not on a boiling temperature yet at 100 degrees Celsius, enough for us to handle during eating the soup lomi. So once it cools down below 61 degrees Celsius, the starch will start to become watery. Hindi na niya kayang i-hold yung water once na bumaba yung temperature below 61 degrees Celsius. As a result, lumalabnaw yung sabaw ng lomi. There are other sources which will serve as a thickening agent such as flour, agar-agar, algin or sodium alginate, gelatin, gum arabic, gum tragacanth, tapioca. But cornstarch is thicker than flour. But if you want to have a thick sauce, even if it gets cold, flour is one thing that I recommend since it's more stable to bind the water below 61 degrees Celsius. So, what is the difference between using gelatin and cornstarch in food when it comes to gelatinization or as thickening agents? Most of the animal source thickening agents like gelatin are more stable as water binder at colder temperature. On the other hand, starch, which is basically from plants, are more stable in hotter temperature. Thank you for your reaction. Comment down below. Corned beef. What exactly is corned beef? Where is the corn? Why is it so pink nowadays? Stay tuned and we will talk about that in our video today in Food, Science, and Us. So, to answer the question, welcome back to our YouTube channel. With science-based explanations from the experts, we will debunk myths about food so you will have an informed decision in making healthy food choices that is free from guilt and fear. So, let's talk about science behind our food. Let's get started. Question: what exactly is corned beef? Corned beef is most often made from the beef brisket, a relatively inexpensive, tough cut of beef that's been cured in a salt brine with a mix of spices like bay leaf, peppercorns, mustard seed, juniper berries, coriander seed, and whole cloves. And if you're thinking that makes sounds a lot like pickling spice, you're exactly right. Wondering where the corn comes in? There's not actually any corn in corned beef. Corn refers to the grains of salt used in the curing process. Cured corned beef is readily available at most grocers, so there's little preparation work required before cooking. Just be sure to rinse the corned beef first. But if you're game for a project, you can cure a piece of brisket at home to make homemade corned beef. Because of the curing process, corned beef doesn't taste like the beef you're used to eating when you have a roast or a steak. Once cooked, corned beef has a soft, tender texture and a pinkish red hue throughout, with a balanced taste that's salty, spiced, sour, and meaty all at once. Nutritional properties of corned beef. The USDA provides the following nutritional value for 100 grams of cooked corned beef brisket. For energy, 251 calories, carbohydrate 0.47 grams, protein with 18.2 grams, fat with 19 grams, cholesterol 98 milligrams, calcium 8 milligrams, and iron with 1.86 milligrams. Protein helps to develop muscle mass and strength. Studies show that protein insufficiency makes it difficult to get through the day and can impact energy and mood. Corned beef is rich in protein. Since it comprises all the 9 essential amino acids, as you know, amino acids are the building blocks of protein. When you see a meat, you can already imagine that they are made of amino acids. Corned beef, it is a complete protein. The amino acids include histidine with 0.58 grams, lysine with 1.54 grams, leucine with 1.44 grams, isoleucine with 0.827, methionine with 0.473 grams, phenylalanine with 0.78 grams, threonine with 7.26 grams, tryptophan with 119 grams, and valine with 0.901 grams. Corned beef is an excellent source of nutrients. You might be wondering why corned beef nowadays is usually pink. The answer would be today's corned beef is now brined or cured using a salt water or sodium nitrite mixture, which fixes the pigment in the meat and causes it to be pink in color. That's why corned beef remains pink after canning, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Food Safety, and Inspection Service. Sodium nitrate is used now not only to fix the color pigment of the meat, but also plays a vital role to delay the meat deterioration by suppressing the growth of microorganisms, thus extending the shelf life of food. Aside from that, it also acts as a meat tenderizer. So, to answer the question, where is the corn in corned beef? Sad to say that there is no actual corn in the corned beef. In the early days of making corned beef, they used salt with the same size of corn that time to brine the beef that it called corned beef. So, Nanay, ang corned beef, bakit tinawag na corned beef wala namang corn? Ay dahil kasing laki ng corn ang mga rock salt noong araw kung paano ginagawa ang corned beef, kung saan ibinababad ito sa tubig na may asin at mga spices kagaya ng laurel, paminta at iba pa. Ang asin na nagsisilbing catalyst, yun na nagbe-break ng hibla ng karne ng baka para lumambot during the curing time. Thank you for watching my video. If you learned something new from this video, please do subscribe. Like and share with your friends to inspire me to make more videos like this. Please watch my next video. See ya! By the way, comment down below on how you cook your corned beef.
What causes the teary eye when chopping onions? How to prevent it, and what are the benefits of eating onions? Stay tuned and we'll talk about that in our video today in Food Science and Us. Welcome to my YouTube channel with science-based explanations from the experts. We will debunk myths about food so you will have an informed decision in making food choices that is healthy and free from guilt and fear. So, let's talk about science behind our food. Let's get started. Before we answer the questions, why we have a teary eye when chopping onions, let's explain first and let's describe what is onion. The onion is a subspecies and primary member of the genus Allium. Because many allium species share the common name onion. The garden onion, also known as the bulb onion and shallot, is referred to as the Allium cepa. Onions are nutrient-based or nutrient-dense, I should say, meaning they're low in calories but high in vitamins and minerals. Did you know that one medium onion has just 44 calories but delivers a considerable dose of vitamins, minerals, and fiber? So let's dig into about this nutritional content of onions. This vegetable is particularly high in vitamin C. Are you surprised with that? Okay, a nutrient involved in regulating immune health, collagen production, repair tissue, and iron absorption, that is vitamin C. And onion have it all. Okay, so vitamin C also acts as a powerful antioxidant in your body, protecting your cells against damage by unstable molecules called the free radicals, which are known as causing the cancer. So eating onions can help to reduce that risk. Onions are also rich in B vitamins, including folate and vitamin B6, which play a key roles in metabolism, red blood cell production, and nerve functions. Lastly, they're good in potassium, a mineral which many people are lacking. Like potassium also available in banana, but surprisingly, onion has high dosage of potassium. In fact, the average potassium intake of Americans is less than half the recommended daily value or DV of 4,700 milligrams. This intake is for normal cellular functions, fluid balance, nerve transmission, and kidney functions. So onions are low in calories yet high in nutrients, including vitamin C, B, and potassium. Okay, let's answer a question. What is the pigment responsible for the color of onion? Like, what makes it red? Thank you to anthocyanins, which are a group of antioxidants found these colored water-soluble pigments belonging to the phenolic group. The pigments are glycosylated forms. Anthocyanins responsible for the colors of red, purple, and blue, which are found in fruits and vegetables like berries, grapes, and some tropical fruits that are high in anthocyanin content. According to the experts, these powerful plant pigments that may protect against heart disease, certain types of cancer, and diabetes are found in onions. And let me introduce to you the food for the thought today. Who is or what is viscous and quercetin? Who are they? According to the National Institute of Health, viscous and quercetin are some of the most prevalent plant flavonoids that are reportedly present in many fruits and vegetables such as apples and onions. The bioactive potential of viscous and quercetin has been established, especially in the modulation of range of cancer signaling pathways. So let's answer now the million-dollar question. What causes the teary eye when we cut onions? Dr. Debatka explains onions release a chemical that is very specific that targets the cornea. And the cornea has a ton of nerves. Onions produce the chemical irritant known as syn-propanediol S oxide. It stimulates the eye's lacrimal glands, so they release tears. The lacrimatory factor synthase is released into the air when we cut the onion. The synthase enzyme converts the amino acids sulfoxides of the onion into sulfenic acid. The unstable sulfenic acids rearrange itself into syn-propanediol S oxide. Did you know that this enzyme is the defense mechanism of onions to protect themselves from any predators like animals or insects that would harm them? So now you know. So now the question is, how can we prevent from teary eyes when chopping onions? Here are the practical ways on how to prevent that. You have to know that onions' irritating compounds waft most easily through warm air. So what we can do is to store that onions in the fridge or freezer for a few minutes before chopping to keep these compounds from rising up towards your eyes. So, nanay, bakit ka umiyak sa sibuyas? In summary, dahil yon sa enzyme at compounds ng onion kung saan sumasama yun sa hangin na dumadapo sa mata natin. Tinatamaan yung glands sa mata natin na naka-assign sa pagluha. So, para maiwasan kung paano huwag maiyak habang naghihiwa ng sibuyas, ay huwag manood ng drama. Just kidding. Pwedeng ilagay yung onion sa fridge or rep bago hiwain. Pwedeng balatan muna at ilagay sa fridge in 30 minutes bago hiwain. At huwag maghiwa kung saan nandun ang direksyon ng hangin. Pwede ring ibabad muna sa tubig bago hiwain ang sibuyas. Maaari ring hugasan muna ang kutsilyo every after use sa paghiwa ng sibuyas. At kung ikaw ay may trick kung paano at para maiwasan ang pagluha ng sibuyas habang naghihiwa ng sibuyas, please comment down below para matulungan pa natin ang ibang nanay na huwag umiyak habang naghihiwa ng sibuyas. Okay? So, So thank you for watching my video. If you enjoy or if you learn something about this video, please do like and subscribe my YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about science behind food, I have tons of videos that you can watch after this one. So you'll have an informed decision now. And when your kid asks you why you're crying while chopping onions, you have answer now. Okay? So thank you and see you next time. Please share my video. Have a great day. Thank you. Have you ever wondered why many fruits like bananas, apples, potatoes change rapidly its color and turn to brown when cut or exposed to air? By the end of this video, we'll give some tips from the experts on how to prevent or slow down the browning of your fruits. We will find out here in our episode on food science and us. Welcome to my YouTube channel with the science-based explanations from the experts. We will debunk myths about food so you'll have an informed decision in making food choices that is free from guilt and fear. So let's talk about science behind your food. Let's get started. Foods are made of lots of different molecules, including called enzymes. Enzymes are special proteins which can be speed up chemical reactions and act as biological catalysts. They can cause fruit to ripen and over-ripen, which gives the fruit a brown color. Fresh fruit and vegetables normally keep enzymes trapped in their tissues. However, when the fruit is sliced or squashed, or when the fruit or vegetable begins to break down with age, the enzymes come out into contact with oxygen in the air. This causes the fruit to turn brown. Oxygen in the air can cause sliced fruits to brown, a process called enzymatic browning, an oxidation reaction. Phenols and the enzymes phenolase are found in the cells of the apple, and when these are exposed to oxygen in the air, for example through slicing, the oxygen causes reaction. The phenolase changes the phenols into melanin, which has brown color. To stop the oxidation reaction, the phenolase enzymes need to be denatured. This could be done by using heat and acids. You may have heard of melanin before. Melanin is the pigment that gives human hair, skin, and eyes and their colors. The process of browning is one of the chemical reactions that take place in food chemistry and represents an interesting research regarding a topic regarding health, nutrition, and food technology. Polyphenols are called phenolic compounds, are a group of chemical substances present in plants like fruits and vegetables, which play an important role during enzymatic browning because they are substrate for the browning enzymes. Enzymatic browning causes a lot of food waste, but it can also be useful. We would not have a tea or chocolate without it. Enzymatic browning gives us color, in our mouth-watering chocolates, coffee, for tea lovers. So what we can do now to prevent this enzymatic browning of fruits or vegetable for salads, for example. Here are the practical tips that we can do to prevent that enzymatic browning. First rule, do not damage. When the product is not damaged, browning won't occur. As long as the cells are whole, the enzyme, phenols, and oxygens are separated from one another, and as such, they can't react. It's only when cells are damaged they can't find one another and react, turning the product brown. So as long as you don't slice, peel, cut, or otherwise damage the produce, browning won't happen. In order for steps 1 and 2 to happen, the presence of oxygen is crucial. As such, if you store the product in the environment without any enzymatic reaction, or that reaction won't happen. Since oxygen is part of the air that surrounds us, that isn't easy. If you have a straight surface, you can place the product onto a flat surface to reduce the amount of oxygen coming in. Alternatively, you can submerge it in water. Water replaces air and so keeps the oxygen away. Manufacturers may use packaging technologies to prevent oxygen from coming into contact with their freshly cut produce using vacuum packing. For instance, they also inject a package with nitrogen to take out most of the oxygen. However, since produce will spoil more quickly when there's no oxygen at all, it's a delicate balance of keeping the produce alive versus maintaining its color. You can also try to remove the water. In order for the reaction to take place, all molecules need to be able to move around to find each other. By removing water, so drying your food, this can become a lot harder and browning can be slowed down. Keep in mind, though, the product needs to be very dry for this to work. As a matter of fact, the reaction might even speed up when only some water is removed, since the remaining liquid will only be more concentrated. How about this one? Change the pH or the acidity. The first factor that can influence this configuration is the pH value of its environment. The question now is, what is pH value? By the way, it's only a measure for the acidity or alkalinity of a liquid. A low value of less than 7 indicates an acidic environment, and high value more than 7 indicates an alkaline environment. Different types of enzymes prefer environments with different pH value, their so-called optimum value. This may depend on the pH value of the product the enzyme is a part of. Most don't perform well at very low pH value, less than 4. Though this is why apple pie recipes often call for squeezing some lemon juice on freshly cut apples. The lemon juice is quite acidic and lowers the pH value. As a result, it can slow down or stop browning. You can also try to lower the temperature. Enzymes don't just have an optimum pH value at which they work fastest. They also have an optimum temperature at which it catalyzes fastest. The optimum temperature for phenols varies widely for different types of produce. For cucumbers, it might be a lot higher than for apples, for instance. Generally speaking, though, storing produce at a lower temperature, for example in the fridge, slows down enzymatic browning. Keep in mind, though, that you might be causing other unintended side effects, since not all types of produce can actually withstand low temperatures. Stay clear of freezing as well. Freezing will damage cells, and most fresh produce will change because of freezing. Also, even at freezing, enzymatic browning can still occur. It's slowly. I'll tell you a secret. The reason of a golden or yellow raisins haven't turned brown, this is because of the addition of this ingredient, sulfur dioxide. It's not yet completely understood how it works, but it's clear the addition of this ingredient can completely prevent enzymatic browning. Lastly, but not least, you can also add another ingredient that interferes with a chemical reaction. The second step of enzymatic browning is an oxidation reaction. By adding an antioxidant, you can reverse this step. The way quinones can react to those colored molecules. A commonly used example of this is ascorbic acid or the vitamin C. An additional advantage of the acid is that it also lowers the pH value, acting on the browning system in two ways. That should give you plenty of tools on how to slow down or prevent enzymatic browning from occurring. Let us know in the comments on what you're planning to use. Please do like and subscribe my YouTube channel and share for this video. And